inspiration for building this tool chest is largely due to my dad. Ever since I was young, I've had a love for building things. At the age of 5, I received my first set of tools. My dad's tool collection has given me the inspiration to start one of my own. This is why I've chosen to construct a woodworkers tool chest for my major work. Throughout this process, the safety equipment used was safety glasses, earmuffs and an apron. I've used these tools throughout the construction of my major project. Each have specific PPE and safe working practices, but overall they require extreme care and instruction on how to use them safely and properly.
There are many aspects of Matthew's project that are challenging. For example, the curved top of the chest has a high degree of difficulty because of its complex frame, its shape and the inclusion of the drawers. He's currently constructing prototypes and models in order to overcome difficulties in the construction of the top. He is making jigs in order to accomplish the curved lid to achieve a high quality construction. And another challenging component of the project are his sliding dovetail rails, due to the high degree of accuracy required to have them work successfully.
Here I am thicknessing and ripping my beech timber to width in order to remove the excess timber and take it back to the correct dimensions. I am now using the Festool domino cutter to edge widen my timber to create boards that will form the shape of my box. I've created a jig to hold the timber flat and ensure that the cut is straight and square. After I'd removed the excess glue from the joints and sanded the boards, I then had Sir use the panel saw to cut miters on each end of the boards. I then used the domino cutter, which was set at a 45-degree angle, to cut holes for the dominoes, which would provide extra strength in the corners. This would also make gluing easier, as the dominoes would hold the miters in position. Due to the fact that I could not construct the front plate until the internal carcass was in, clamping was going to be difficult, as the box only had 3 sides. I overcame this issue by cutting a piece of ply that was the internal length of the box, which held the front face of the box square. The miters were neat in most parts, but due to variation in the timber, in some areas there was overhang. Having drawer runners in the box was a necessity, due to the fact that the drawers need to slide smoothly even though they may get heavy. So I created an internal carcass which would give me a surface to attach the drawer runners to. This carcass would also provide extra strength in the box. Once I had constructed the carcass, I needed to attach it to the box. I did this by cutting 4 thin strips of timber, which were the thickness of the gap between the box and the carcass. I then glued and screwed these strips to the carcass and lowered it inside the box and screwed it to the sides of the box. This was difficult as there was not a lot of timber to screw to. To hide the internal carcass, I cut strips of beech which I glued to the carcass, and this formed the front plate of the box. These did not need to be screwed as they will not hold any weight. I needed to ensure they were square and sitting flat against the carcass, as any minor errors would be seen against the straight edge of the drawers. I decided to leave the stays sitting slightly proud, as when they were sanded it would create a finish with no gap. Here I am using the router to rip out a groove for the base of my box to sit into. Due to the thin edge of the box, it was difficult to hold the router stable, so I used a length of ply to overcome this issue and make the process safer. Gluing the top was made a lot easier by creating a prototype. I knew that the mould was correct and that it gave a nice even finish. I also knew that the flexible plywood did not spring back a lot once the straps were released. This allowed the process to go smoothly without creating a lot of issues. I used a linisher to sand the ends of the curve flat, which will allow it to sit flat on the base plate for gluing. To continue the contrast of beech and American walnut throughout the project, I've chosen to attach ends to the curve, which are made of beech. This would hide the flexible plywood and make the ends neat once the veneer was attached. The dovetail slides are a major part of my project. They allow the curved top to slide open. This is why they need to be neat and slide smoothly without getting stuck. I've done several practices and made a jig to make the process as consistent as possible. Overall, I'm really pleased with what I was able to achieve from the generation of my original ideas. Whilst it was an extensive process that required significant modifications along the way in order to achieve the overall goal, the end result was everything that I hoped it to be.